What's up guys, T here with the plane upgrade video in which we will discuss the best upgrades to use for each plane type. This is part 3 of my 3-part tank, ship, and plane upgrade quick tip. I will link the other 2 parts at the very end of the video, so be sure to check those out if you haven't already. As well, for those new to Tea Time, I have loads of helpful Hearts of Iron 4 tips on my channel, so be sure to check those out and subscribe for more. Now, on to the featured content, plane upgrades. The first thing I want to share with you guys is just 2 quick tips. The first being, I would not start upgrading any of my planes until I at least get the 1940 variants of them. And the second being, we're going to be shooting for a reliability for these planes across all the planes of 96%. So you can see right there, 96%. And the reason for this being is every 10% of reliability missing out of 100 is 1% chance of air accidents on takeoff for each mission the plane flies. Plane flies 2 missions in a 24-hour period, one during the day, one during the evening if you have them just continuously flying. So every time that happens, there's a 1, 2, or 3, whatever percent chance of that plane being destroyed and losing that pilot due to an air accident. So say you have the base 80% reliability, there's a 2% chance every time that plane goes up that it's not going to come back due to an air accident. And that seems minimal, but if you have it across 1,000 planes, that's 2 planes pretty much every mission just because of the numbers you're working with. So as you can see, with 2 missions a day, over an extended period of time, that can be quite costly with a large Air Force. And that's why we want to keep our reliability right up near that 100% mark. The reason we're not going over 100 is that really limits what you can do as far as upgrading the other parts of the airplane. First plane we're going to be looking at here is your typical fighter. I have the 1940 model pulled up here, or Fighter 2. The reason I have the 1940 model pulled up is that most planes you're going to be using are going to be the 1940 model during a typical campaign. It's just the way it falls with the timeline and production capabilities. So what we're going to do with this fighter is we're going to give it 5 reliability, 3 range, and 5 engine. So the reason I'd recommend doing what I'm doing is when you upgrade any of these planes, you're going to have the option between either increasing its operational range or increasing its weapons or bombing. And the reason the choice is between these two is because both decrease reliability, and you only have so much reliability to work with, because we can only increase it 5 times and we still need to keep it at 96% reliability. So we can only use 3, whether it's 3 range, 3 weapons, or a mix of the 2, we can only use 3. And so I choose range here because with the fighters, oftentimes when you're going on offensive missions to clear the skies, you don't quite have the range to reach that entire enemy airspace. So if you have that extra operational range, you're going to have a lot lower penalty for the inability to cover the entire range, or you might not even have that penalty at all due to that additional range. And for me, to be able to effectively cover the area is much more valuable than having the little bit of increased weapons. Now the reason I recommend increasing the engine to 5 is because what it gives you is full agility and max speed maxed out. So what those are going to do for you is just be more fast in combat, and as we all know, speed kills. Now unfortunately, since plane upgrades are so much more expensive than tank upgrades, this is going to take this is going to need to be achieved in 2 parts. So now I'm going to show you how I would upgrade this plane step by step. So I would start with reliability. I would do reliability 1, 2, 3, and then I would do range 1, then I do reliability, and then range, and then reliability, and then range, and then engine. That stops you off at 475. So that's part 1. And then for part 2, just come in and tack on those last 3 engines, and there you go. Now onto some of the other planes. The cheeky thing is, for the close air, heavy fighter, and naval bombers, I would use all 3 use the same setup. And the reason being is they all have that 1K operational range, and for all of them, you're going to want to have that extra range in order to not incur the penalty of not being able to cover the entire area. The 2 planes on which that rule of thumb does not hold true are the tactical bomber and strategic bomber. For the tactical bomber, I would do 5 reliability, 5 engine, and 3 bombing. And the reason being is the tactical bomber at the 1940 variant has a 2 kilometer range, and that is more than enough to get it where it needs to go in order to do tactical bombing raids and ground support. Now the strategic bomber is the most unique out of all of them because it gets to use all 4 attributes. I would do 5 reliability, 5 engine, 2 bombing and 1 range. The reason I do 2 bombing and 1 range is for the strategic bomber, when you increase the bombing, the additional weight of the bombs actually decreases the operational range. So you need to do 1 range in order to equal out the bombing and the range. So you still have that nice 3K bombing range in order to reach long distance targets. The final thing I'd like to say is that, of course, with all of these variants, you could neglect the engine upgrade. It's just something I threw on there because it does actually make the plane better if you have the air experience for it. I wouldn't recommend using the engine upgrade on any of the planes if you're planning on upgrading the reliability, attack, or range on another plane. That would probably be more beneficial. But if you have the extra experience, the engine is going to help you because in air battles, speed really does kill. Alright guys, that's all I have to say about plane upgrades. If you like this video, if it helped you, please hit that like button. If you haven't already, please subscribe for more content. I'm making new content daily. The links to the other 2 videos will be just after this. And as always guys, thanks for watching.